higher than
It's
others.
a path of emptiness. So if there's 15 BMWs here, so then what's the goal then? They get 20? And then that'll be like more impressive. Like, what is this guy's like? What is this person thinking? What do these people think when they watch this? Whoa, man, look at all these Beamers. Like, how many are there? 15, 20? Like, whatever the number is. Like, what is the number? Is it 50? It's just silly. There's no path to enlightenment in this world that comes through material goods. Even my beloved guitars. All I need is this one. All I need is one of these great guitars. And it's funny. The older I get, the less I want shit. I'd rather have 8 or 10 guitars that are amazing and ready to play and perfectly strung up than to have like 40, 50, 100, 200 that I never open the case, and they never get played. You finally open it, and even if you restrung it and repaired it a year ago, you open it up, it's all shitty all over again. You know, you gotta be the caretaker of all this stuff, and it ends up owning you. All right, good evening. This one always gets my goose. This one's about the old phrase, sell your soul to the devil for the old electric guitar. Sell your soul for one of these babies. Or if you can be one of these guys. So this video came across the wire, and I just figured, I saw about 30 seconds of it, and I said, you know what, I want to react to it. But I always wonder why some of these artists are still touring into their 80s and 90s. When I was young, I used to think, oh, wow, they just really love it. That's all they want to do, man. Really? I mean, it's up to you. But Bob Dylan is the one that always, and I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. In fact, I'm in a group that plays quite a bit of Bob Dylan, and he's amazing. But let's watch some of this video, and I'll show you what I mean. This one is by Truth Is. I'll put I'm getting better at this YouTube thing, I think. So I'll put the original poster in here. Thank you for the video. The truth about selling your soul. It should be good. So I got about a minute in.
The truth is, we have all heard the saying, he sold his soul to the devil.
There it is.
Many people
There's
believe
the
that some
line.
celebrities have made a pact with the devil to receive fame and fortune. Could this be true? Could the world
I think
really
it
be
is.
rigged and the only way to the top be through the devil? Dad?
We know the world is rigged. I mean, this much. If you don't think the world is rigged, then this is definitely not the channel for you.
The answer to this is darker than you would want it to be. Join me in this episode as we uncover the dark truth about selling your soul.
Here we are.
To understand the actual act of selling your soul, you need to understand what selling your soul means. As the general conception that people have about selling your soul is that the devil springs up at your doorstep and offers you to sell over your soul. You signed in blood, and now you're rich and famous. This isn't entirely true, but
it's not going to be that obvious. As you get older, you realize, see, they prey on the young and the dumb, and they prey on the emotional, which are the young, and we've all been there. And how many times, I know I've said it as a younger musician, I would do anything to be famous. And I think a lot of us, in a dumb, selfish way, I think would. And I always speak with my buddy. I talk to my guitar teacher and mentor. I hate saying that word, but he really is. He's my guy, Tony Scazzaro. Talk to my buddy Tony all the time about this, And we look at the lives we have now, and none of us. I mean, in my opinion, he made it, but he's got all kinds of accolades and degrees and amazing accomplishments and things on his resume. But in my opinion, that's making it. He's living down in St. Augustine, Florida. He's gigging almost every day. He gigs when he wants. He gets great money. He's retired from teaching. He plays whatever he wants. To me, that's making it.
The devil does play a large part in all of this.
I'm rambling here.
The act of selling your soul is much more complex than it seems. There are many ways to sell your soul to the devil, not just by Satan worship. Don't get me wrong. There are people that have sold their souls in ritualistic ways and dedicated their lives to Lucifer, such as the story of the first artist to sell his soul, Robert Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Most people that sell their soul don't even know they have done it.
We talk about Robert Johnson all the time. If you don't know, look up Robert Johnson. You got to know. He's the original blues artist that apparently he was a terrible, terrible guitarist. And then when everybody saw him like a year later or something, he was like, incredible, groundbreaking blues player, bluesman. So yeah, look that up. And here's the thing: now we have more of access to things now in this day and age. We have more of an inside peek. Before, these things used to be whispers and wives' tales, but now we're getting some. I'm not saying this guy's speaking all truth. You got to discern for yourself, but let's forge ahead. I've heard all these things before. I'm
In order
sure
to
you have
understand my
too.
point, we have to understand the motive for selling your soul. When most
Money.
people sell their souls, they either want more money,
It's
fame, or
money.
power. They want to be respected and admired and have fans.
I
What
don't
they
need the
seem
power
not to
so
know
much. I
is
just
that
want the
Lucifer
money and the
wanted the same
comfort.
thing in heaven. Lucifer wanted to be a god and no longer wanted to worship God. This very
And buy
thing
a
is what
thousand
fame
more of
is.
these that I don't
Fame
need.
is the pursuit of self-worship.
That's what
People
I
that
mean.
want fame want people to admire them and look at them as higher than
It's
others.
a path of emptiness. So if there's 15 BMWs here, so then what's the goal then? They get 20? And then that'll be like more impressive. Like, what is this guy's, like, what is this person thinking? What do these people think when they watch this? Whoa, man, look at all these Beamers. Like, how many are there? 15, 20? Like, whatever the number is. Like, what is the number? Is it 50? It's just silly. There's no path to enlightenment in this world that comes through material goods. Even my beloved guitars. All I need is this one. All I need is one of these great guitars. And it's funny. The older I get, the less I want shit. I'd rather have 8 or 10 guitars that are amazing and ready to play and perfectly strung up than to have like 40, 50, 100, 200 that I never open the case, and they never get played. You finally open it, and even if you restrung it and repaired it a year ago, you open it up, it's all shitty all over again. You know, you gotta be the caretaker of all this stuff, and it ends up owning you. I see a lot of these guitarists now too that I even follow, even like Tom Bukovac. He's thin in the herd, and I get it. And he even says it's like, well, I don't want to take care of all this shit. I'd rather have one great example of each thing that I really love, and keep them moving. That's part of life. Sell them and get something else someday. Same thing with cars, though. After a couple cars, like what? You're just wasting money, and you don't know you're wasting that money because you think you're going to ride high forever, but it doesn't last
The
forever.
pursuit of this usually comes at
But
a
I know
dark
I'm just a
cost.
loser on YouTube.
Some people are willing to lie,
I know.
steal,
I know.
even murder over money, fame, and power. If a person has changed their morals and beliefs over money, power, or fame, they have sold their soul. If a person becomes successful
Exactly.
and changes while they're at the top, they have sold their soul.
Yes, when you change the way you really believe and you know it, and you just throwing caution to the wind, that's selling your soul. You're giving up your true soul, what you believe, to agree with something that's going to give you monetary gain or power or all of the above. And it's tempting, and that's why they pray. You don't see old people with gray hair like me on here. You see young people. These are all being used. Like that car's ugly. Look at that car's disgusting, man. Look at it. I'm not gonna say nothing
Hence
about the
why
women.
people call those type of people sellouts. If you know in the back of your mind what you need to do to gain what you want
What do we
is
all
wrong,
say? Oh, I'll be a sellout. I'll be a sellout. The older you get, man, you can't say that forever. You just can't.
to tell
I
yourself
can't.
you don't care because what you will gain is more valuable to you than your morals, you have sold your soul. The devil has tricked millions
Jesus.
of people into selling out in this
Look
manner.
at this fucking
Using
guy.
rap music and thug culture, Lucifer has been able to manipulate millions into
That guy's covering his
you
bald
than your
spot
morals,
with
you have
horns.
sold your soul.
He's covering this. It's a distraction. Oh my heavens. Hey man, each
The
his own, I
devil has
guess.
tricked
But
millions of people into selling out in this
nah, not when
manner.
it comes to spreading
Using rap
evil.
music and thug culture, Lucifer has been able to manipulate millions into self-damnation.
Oh
When hip-hop
yes.
first started, it wasn't about being tough or having money and fame, it was about expression. The music that was being played in mainstream at the time wasn't completely relating to the youth in urban cities of the Bronx. So they decided to create their own sound, their own way to express their own selves. The devil only saw
And
his
man, in the '90s, it was so different. Yes, was there an element of this? I'm sure this is when they were planting the seeds of hip hop, anyway. But the music industry it's been an industry to not benefit the listener or benefit the artist. It's to benefit the few slimy, evil, ghoul, fucking. It drives me nuts. All these record execs, the Clive Davises, who's the Tommy Mottolas, those fucking sleazeballs, man, that keep everything under lock and key, and it's all a machine. I think they've had AI for decades already, and they use that machine to make these hits, and they just kind of polish them up a little bit. They'll get these people on guitar, they'll get this person on drums, they'll get this person singing. Maybe they say, oh, you know what, the AI made this song, but let's just change this and that. Or let's put these two AI songs together and make this. And I think it's mixed in, like you see a band like Yes or like a Pink Floyd. You know, I wonder to myself, like, how could they have gotten any success, or rock and roll in general? Because if you think about it, it's kind of against like the mainstream cookie cutter thing. It was a very original art form at one time. All these bands were completely different. So I think they just saw money to be made. And still, every story you hear about Van Halen and Black Sabbath, you name the band, you know, the few that didn't get screwed are like, it's amazing, but they all got screwed or they got murdered for their catalog. Michael Jackson, Prince. It's not for us. It's not for like the you know the great of the art. You know, for all the best. And not that art is always has to art has to always be whatever. I'm getting way off topic, but not that all art has to be sophisticated or fancy or technical. But there's enough people who want that who aren't getting it in the mainstream, and you got to kind of dig for it. You know, and a lot of these artists kind of give up over time, so you don't even get to enjoy them because it's just the next Taylor Swift, the next whoever. Cookie cutter shit. Rap used to have such soul in the 90s. Everybody sounded different. Now I couldn't tell you. I hear some artist died, some rapper died. I never even heard of them. I feel like I'm fairly in touch with things.
Quickly after its formation,
this riles me
hip-hop
up.
was converted into a cash grab, where Satan will hand out cash to artists who are willing to destroy the souls of their own people for financial gain. We all know that once an artist signs a deal, they essentially belong to a record label. They must now push an image, even if they don't agree with it, promote products even if they don't like them, and consistently act like someone that they're not in public. Now
the record label owns them, just like they own Prince, which is why he had to change his name. Once he realized, holy shit, man, like these guys are not even nowhere near on my side, he had to make a symbol so he could make music. Because everything that he made, they owned, he said. He wanted to make other records on the side outside of his contract. They said, no, we own that. It says in the contract, anything you make, any of your art, we own. Michael Jackson, the same thing, man. He couldn't get out of some of those. They off these people for their record contracts. It's all these backdoor dealings that funnel to the same few people, you know, and their producers and their teams. But it's not to make the best music. It's not to be fair. It's for the few to monopolize the whole industry, which is why it sucks. It is. It's why it sucks now.
More traditional way
Let's just say it. We all know it. We used to have a great thing. It sucks now.
This method is the oldest, but it isn't the most effective.
It sound like an old angry boomer.
Don't want to directly worship
no, I'm not a
Satan.
boomer.
So Satan uses those who have sold their souls to him to manipulate those who won't.
And these executives know it and they manipulate it. That's why there's all the rituals.
More people, making those who are soulless look like they're living a fantasy life.
Yeah,
in reality,
and they want us to all want that, so that we're next in line and work for them.
Worshiping Lucifer are really just worshiping.
And if not, we'll go to the concerts,
they're learning
right?
how to self-worship, putting themselves.
Oh, this guy's got a fucking.
These people tend to be the most famous and most powerful. They go on to have the most luxurious careers and are well regarded as influential in the culture.
And they're not. They don't even write their own shit. If you looked up,
their members iconic and influential. They give this honor to celebrities who manipulate the most people, but you could say influence.
Stop worshiping like any people, but at least worship somebody talented.
Essentially, to follow the pursuit of being your own God.
You should not worship
we may all have goals and dreams as we work
them.
towards them.
We
must remember to stay true to ourselves.
It all looks the same. Everyone's angry. Why is everyone angry? We used to celebrate and party. What happened to Tribe Called Quest? Those guys were. We had fun. What happened to
work might take you longer.
Just talking over this.
It has its perks and guarantees. You get to remain true to
Digital
your family,
Underground.
friends,
I should have worn my Digital Underground shirt.
Yourself. You must remember that life may get hard before it gets easier.
Yeah, they prey on people who've had a hard time, and usually most artists, we have a hard time. Starving artists, poor musician. It's always when you're young.
What is it truly worth to gain the world but to lose oneself? Thank you for watching.
Oh man, all right. That wasn't going where I thought it was going to go. The thing that gets me is, yeah, they get all these young people, you know, obviously, and they sell your soul, right? I feel like all these artists, man, there's just this weird air. I feel like even the Bob Dylans, I feel like even the Paul McCartney, does he still sound good? Do they still sound good? Yeah, for their age, but they don't sound great. They don't need to be doing this. Like there's more to this huge world in life than just putting on that bass again or putting that guitar on again. You know, especially I see Bob Dylan, he's getting well into his 80s and he'll play some dinky town. Like I get it. He wants to play a little bit. He still wants to play. But he's kind of still crushing the touring schedule. And it just seems to me like somebody like him would want to maybe do like you know, like just a limited, smaller uh, tour schedule, maybe a little more limited. Maybe kind of have people come to him, do like a residency. I'm not saying Vegas, but do some kind of a residency, so it's easier on him. But he's so good still, and his band is so incredible, and he's just so creative. But I think some people kind of pass it off and can work with it easier. The Rolling Stones. I mean, that's you're in that till you're to death. I'm a huge Stones fan. You can look around and see that. The one that gets me, man, let's do a little search, is Frankie Valli. This poor guy, man. They're traveling him around, and half the people think he's still singing because, oh, poor Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli robot. I know he's not a robot, okay? But good God, man. This poor guy. This guy signed a deal, man, or else he wouldn't be out here. Look at this guy. He's not having fun. It's not fair, man. That's not fair to him. The guy's 90, literally 90. And again, an occasional show, of course. Have have something in New Jersey and have all the Jersey boys, all that, right? They're like traipsing him all over the world. Somebody is making money from him singing and selling these tickets, and they don't care that he's 90. That's my point, man. Is he having some fun? I'm sure he is, but I don't think it's fair to him or the fans. I don't. It's a tough one. I'm not the only one.
Have you kept up at all on Frankie Valli?
No, who's Frankie Valli?
So, can you?
I mean, I know I've heard that name, but
Zola, can you pull the 2020 stuff up first? So
this is my
Frankie
problem. This is what I always like. See, Bob
is
Dylan,
a
he's still
legendary
very
singer.
functional
Yeah,
and
like
very
from,
artistic.
like Greece,
and
like
he sounds
Greece,
gravelly,
yeah.
but man, it sounds cool, you know.
Songs
But I
are
feel like even a guy like him who loves it, he's
Frankie
just
Valli.
always
And, like,
touring
he was
in his 80s. That's all.
a
Seems odd to me.
huge act, right? And the Four Seasons.
It makes
right?
me wonder
Like,
if it's
and,
tied into
you know,
some of
so
these
this is
deal
him,
with the
like,
devil.
during the pandemic, right?
I'm probably gonna get in trouble with this. I don't know if I'm getting in trouble.
Going on.
for real, you're not blinking.
This was the stuff that was really, and my heart dropped a little, man. Look at this
It's like
gentleman.
one of those fucking Chuck E. Cheese motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that kind of. Yeah, they're trying to swear too much. I swear on my channel. I don't want to see him like this. Oh, Asleep on Stage. Yeah, I've seen this one. I don't know what happened there, but here's my point. Like, get him out of there, right? But I think he signed a deal. That deal's till death. He was signed a deal with the devil. It's to the end. So I don't know what this was. This was just a rant. I thought that first video was going to go somewhere else, but we'll talk more about the evil music industry. I really want to dig up some stuff, and these executives, man, they're the ones who really suck. You're never going to have a music industry like you had in the 80s and in the 90s and in the 60s and all. It's just never going to happen. I'm not trying to be negative. They don't want it to happen. They want it this way. They want AI to make the music eventually for the younger kids. So when we're older and dead, the kids' ears are going to be used to this AI BS, and it's going to be so much easier to just hear. Then the artists will be robots and garbage. I keep doing this because it just really upsets me because, man, the arts are the one thing that keeps us humans human. The touch of the guitar, you know what I mean? The volume of a voice, the vibrato. Think of a Freddie Mercury or Eddie Van Halen. Or Whitney Houston. God. All right. Sleep tight, friends. We'll do some more ranting tomorrow. All right.